Benny Hill was a very funny man. He made people laugh all over the world. He was born in England in 1924. His real name was Alfred, but everyone knew him as Benny. Benny loved to make jokes and do silly things. He became very famous for his TV show called The Benny Hill Show. This show made people laugh for many years. Benny's show was full of funny moments. He used a lot of slapstick comedy. Slapstick is when people fall down, hit each other, or do other silly things. Benny was very good at this. He also liked to use funny faces and voices. He could change his voice to sound like different people. This made his jokes even funnier. One of the most famous parts of Benny's show was the chase scenes. In these scenes, Benny would run away from a group of people. The people chasing him were often policemen or other funny characters. The chase scenes were very fast and full of action. They were always set to a song called Yakety Sax. This song is very fast and happy. When people hear it, they think of Benny Hill. Benny's show also had a lot of funny characters. Benny played many of these characters himself. He would wear wigs, hats, and costumes to look different. Sometimes he was a silly old man. Other times he was a funny policeman or a crazy scientist. Benny was very good at changing his look. He could make people believe he was someone else. The show also had many beautiful women. These women were called Hill's Angels. They were part of the comedy too. Sometimes they chased Benny. Other times they helped him with his jokes. The women added a lot of fun to the show. Benny's humor was simple and easy to understand. He did not use many words. Instead, he used actions and expressions. This made his comedy popular in many countries. People who did not speak English could still laugh at his jokes. Benny's show was shown in over 100 countries. He was loved by millions of people. Benny worked very hard to make his show funny. He wrote many of the jokes himself. He also directed the show and chose the music. Benny wanted everything to be perfect. He wanted people to laugh as much as possible. His hard work paid off. The show was a big success. Benny was also a singer. He sang funny songs on his show. Some of these songs became very popular. One of his famous songs was called Ernie, the Fastest Milkman in the West. This song told a funny story about a milkman. It was very silly, but people loved it. The song was so popular that it became a #1 hit in England. Benny's comedy was not just for adults. Children also loved his show. The silly actions and funny faces were perfect for kids. Many families watched the show together. It was a time for everyone to laugh and have fun. Benny was also known for his kindness. He was very nice to the people he worked with. He treated everyone with respect. Benny did not like to talk about his private life. He wanted people to focus on his work. He wanted to make people happy. Even though Benny's show ended in 1991, people still remember him. His comedy is still funny today. Many comedians say Benny Hill was an inspiration. They learned from his jokes and his style. Benny showed the world how to make people laugh. Benny Hill was a true comedy legend. He brought joy to millions of people. His silly jokes, funny faces, and fast chases will always be remembered. Benny Hill will always be the king of comedy. Benny's show was full of surprises. Every episode had something new. Sometimes Benny would dress as a woman. He would wear a big hat and a long dress. He would walk in a funny way and make everyone laugh. Other times he would play a very serious person. But then he would do something silly. This made the serious moment very funny. Benny also liked to use props. Props are objects used in a show. Benny used things like fake food, big hammers, and silly machines. These props made his jokes even better. For example, he might have a fake cake. He would pretend to eat it, but then the cake would explode. This kind of joke always made people laugh. Music was very important in Benny's show. He used music to make his jokes funnier. The fast music in the chase scenes made them exciting. The slow music in the romantic scenes made them funny. Benny knew how to use music to tell a joke. He was a master of comedy. Benny's show also had a lot of wordplay. Wordplay is when words are used in a funny way. Benny would say something that sounded normal. But then he would say something silly. This made people laugh. For example, he might say, "I went to the doctor. He said I needed glasses. So I drank from a cup instead." This kind of joke is simple but very funny. Benny's comedy was timeless. This means it never gets old. People today still laugh at his jokes. His show is still shown on TV in many countries. New generations discover Benny Hill and enjoy his humor. This shows how great Benny was. He made comedy that lasts forever. Benny was also very creative. He always thought of new ideas. He did not want to repeat the same jokes. He wanted to surprise his audience. This is why his show was so popular. People never knew what to expect. They knew it would be funny, but they did not know how. Benny's show was also very fast. The jokes came one after another. There was no time to stop laughing. This made the show exciting. People could not look away. They wanted to see what would happen next. Benny knew how to keep his audience entertained. Benny Hill was a true artist. He used his talent to make people happy. He worked hard to create something special. His show was a gift to the world. It brought laughter and joy to millions. Benny Hill will always be remembered as one of the greatest comedians of all time. In conclusion, Benny Hill was a funny and talented man. He made people laugh with his silly jokes and actions. His show was full of surprises and fun. Benny worked hard to make his comedy the best. He will always be loved by people all over the world. Benny Hill was a true comedy legend.